Damn, this game is too good. Combos flow so well, the soundtrack's amazing, and the objectives for each stage are well thought out. If only something like this could come out in HD and be based on a DreamWorks movie about snails with engines on them. Originally, this movie was going to be about all the racing games that the Wii U has to offer, and naturally I thought Turbo Super Stunt Squad was a racing game for the Wii U. I mean, just look at the trailer for the movie.
Ready? Set. Oh, I got this one. Yeah.
It's literally about racing snails, and the main snail is voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and he has a fucking engine attached to him, so obviously I would think that this is a racing game, but apparently not. Turbo Super Stunt Squad is made by Monkey Bar Games, who have created only the highest standard of games over the years, such as Madagascar 3, Dora the Explorer, and, oh shit, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 1 and 2. Dang, those games were kind of fun, I thought. Maybe this won't be too bad. But they seem to have gone out of business though, so it probably is as bad as I thought. There's a bunch of game modes on the main menu, including a tutorial, but we don't need that shit. Let's just jump right into the single player. I mean, it can't be that tough. Upon selecting the single player mode, you get to choose a character. There's a whopping 4 characters available at the start, with 1 to unlock, which is just so very exciting, let me tell you. These characters include...
My name is Turbo.
Okay, well that doesn't sound like right.
Name's Whiplash.
Okay, well that's...
Hey, player.
Is that supposed to be Snoop Dogg? I'm definitely choosing this guy, which is apparently named Smooth Move. Not even Smooth Moves. He's just one singular smooth move. And honestly, it doesn't even look like these stats change much for each character, so why not choose the Snoop Snail? After choosing your character, you get to choose a stage, and this is where I found out that this isn't a racing game, but instead a Tony Hawk clone. I was honestly shocked. How racing snails equates to snails doing tricks is beyond me, but I'm ready to collect some turbo letters to get 2,500 points and to jump the nap gap. And the nap gap just sounds so dapper. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this music is actually not too bad, but let's see if the gameplay matches the surprising quality. How do I move? I can turn and jump with the ZR button that lets you move forward, and you have to press it down the entire game or you slow to a halt almost immediately. I love that. Oh my god, these turns are so wide, this is gonna be a fucking nightmare. Honestly, they almost got the Tony Hawk controls right. X grinds or does a lip trick, B jumps, Y and A do your grabs and flips, though I really can't tell them apart. You can also press the ZL button on ramps to spine transfer or the ZL button on the ground to brake. But like I said, it's almost perfect. Since you have to press the ZR button to go forward, my hands cramped a lot and I only played for like 3 hours. It's not all bad though, the physics makes sense sometimes, and combos are really easy to do since they really aren't combos. The combos, as this game likes to call them, are really just moves done almost entirely separate, considering they give you ample time to move from one trick to the other. And the best part is, if you wipe out at all, you get to keep all the points. It's a win-win. You basically just do a jump and a grab move over and over again, and even if you fall, you still get 10,000 points and complete that pesky objective. Speaking of objectives, every stage has them, including one specific to each character. There's missions like collecting the turbo letters, which is just collecting escape from Tony Hawk, gathering a number of certain objects that's different in each level, jumping gaps, and sometimes doing tricks above said gaps. Stuff like that. They even have a collect the tape-like mission, which is just collecting a trophy which doesn't even give you a nice video to watch, like in Tony Hawk. The problem with completing these objectives, though, is the stage design. Take, for example, the nap gap. The nap gap is in the first level of the game and should be the easiest to complete. Except that's not true, because this level's the most difficult time I had with the entire game, except for the second to last level, which we will get to. The nap gap is on a counter you have to get to by boosting on ramps to get up the shelf. Then you have to grind over to the other side of the stage and carefully transfer to the counter the gap is on, and when you're finally there, you have to try to gain enough speed to get over the ramp to the other side to get the gap. But there's not enough room to gain enough speed to get over to the other side, so you fall short. And since the game doesn't give you enough room to gain enough speed to jump over the gap, and if you miss it, you can easily fall off the counter and you have to go all the way back up for another try, and you only have 2.5 minutes to do so, so if you mess up once, you pretty much have to start the whole level over. And that's just for one objective. Multiply that frustration by 30, and that's the entire game. But you know what? I'm committed, and I will unlock all these stages to show them off for you lovely people. In case you couldn't tell by this point, the first stage is in a taco restaurant with newspaper and tacos thrown everywhere to make up its ramps and rails. Even though the layouts of these levels are abysmal, I must say there is creative choices for ramps and rails that are very pleasing to me. Though admittedly, it doesn't make much sense grinding on a taco. I'll let it slide for this one. And plus, jumping over food trays is just so much fun. I can't stop having fun. Eventually, I got enough goals in the first level to move on to the next. This level is a nail salon, and it's just 1,000 times better in terms of level design. Though, what the fuck is this supposed to be, and why did they make it so hard to jump off of? The rails in this stage are nail files and jump ropes for some reason, and the ramps are towels somehow. There's not much to say about this stage other than that. I mean, I got through it pretty fast, so that's about it. That's all I remember. There is a giant gap in this stage though, and when you go over it, apparently paparazzi takes pictures of you. I then immediately fell off the platform I landed on, so that was fucking great. After the nail salon, we're taken outside the taco restaurant, which has more of the same from the first level. Like collecting hot sauce, jumping the gaps, and, collecting more turbo letters, which was really hard for me at first. The really annoying gap to get to in this one is on a table you have to get to by going on a different table, rocking up a ramp, and jumping off the exact moment that you need to get to another boost over another table, and jumping over the oh man. The really annoying gap to get to in this one is on a table you have to get to by going on another table, by rocketing up a ramp and jumping at the exact right moment, and then going on another boost over the tables to go off a jump to boost over another boost ramp to jump off that, and then you get the gap. It's really not frustrating at all. It's very easy to understand. This stage is basically the same as the restaurant inside, with the tacos and the trays as rails, and this time our ramps are concrete on the ground. I would really hate to eat at this restaurant outside. I mean, look at the tripping hazards, man. Next, we got an auto body shop, which again is really annoying to traverse. I couldn't even find half the gaps they wanted me to, and how I got to the next level is beyond me. This stage is the least impressive because there's a lot of empty spaces everywhere, and at the same time the level feels too tight. I can't figure out how to get to the upper level of the stage, and even when I did, accidentally, I just fell off almost immediately. Moving on, we end up at some hobbyist store, and I didn't think this game could get any worse than this. There's 2 levels to this stage, one on the ground and one up high, which is a train village model-like thing that you see in movies like Stuart Little and I guess Turbo. If you go to the village, you get stuck there for the entire run, and if you get on the ground, then you're down there the entire run. I couldn't find a way out of the village because there's some stupid train that kills you when you touch it, and there's no way back up to the second level of the stage because fuck you, that's why. And even if you're in the village, you can get stuck in a single section because the train surrounds it and there's no way in hell you're gaining enough speed to jump over it. This clip basically sums up my entire run of this level. Collecting turbo is usually super easy in each level, so let's try that first. T is easy enough, it's just on a rail heading to the village. U is in a gap above the train, but it's easy enough to get. B is on a rail in the hills of the village, but R no. My god, R no. R is on some rail that you need to grind to from above because you can't get to it from the hills of the level because you can't get enough speed to get up to it, and you can't get back to the platform where you were to grind it because of the stupid fucking train and the lack of appropriate space to gain enough speed to get to jump on the track in the first place. And O is just stupid. It's on a roof of some house that the ramps don't line up with, so you have to struggle over and over again to make it up there until you had enough, and you throw your gamepad on the ground and you storm off until you realize you're one objective away from getting to the last level and you must move on. You must move on, Jams. So I slept on it, and I completed a different objective on a different level, and I got to the final level. Was it worth it? No. It's some stupid garden on a rooftop with a lame aesthetic. But you know what? I did it, bitch. And how do I reward myself? By unlocking some cheats. If there's one thing these movie games do that most games don't, it's include cheats, and that I like. But the only cheats you get in this game are new shells for your stupid ass snails and a new character who isn't even overpowered. There's no big head mode, and there's no perfect balance. It's all bullshit, but, you do get a Firestone logo, and that's pretty fucking tight. Oh, and apparently there's a free play mode too with its own objectives, but I'm over these levels at this point. The only thing I can look forward to now is this create a challenge mode. Let's see what this is all about. I'll choose the outdoor taco restaurant because that's the least bad stage. All right, let's make our own challenges. Wow, they give you a list to choose from, so you're not actually creating anything. Well, at least this game uses the gamepad, unlike most other third-party Wii U games. You can choose which challenges you want with it. Pretty cool, right? But that's not all. You can also turn on tilt controls for balancing on rails, which is just as good as you think it is. All in all, this game is pretty lackluster in terms of gameplay, level design, controls, graphics, pretty much everything except for the music. The music's pretty decent. I'd say if you're looking to play a Tony Hawk game in HD, play this, because Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is probably worse than this. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go watch a movie about snails with engines attached to them. And, racing? I'm not sure, but, totally gonna go watch that. It sounds so fucking stupid.